The situation is tough here because, I mean, I was in Kiev before. In Kiev was much easier. I mean, Russia were like outside the skirt of the city. Here they are like almost in the city. They were in the city. They used to control the center of Kharkiv until let's say 2 weeks ago. And then the resistance, the Ukrainian defense forces, they push back them. Now they are like just outside of the city, but they are bombing day and night. Just to give you a couple of numbers, in the last 24 hours we had 200 bombing in Kharkiv, and 1,200 residential building has been destroyed so far. 30% of people of Kharkiv is the second largest city of Ukraine, and 30% of population left. Who is still here basically lives in the basement because it's the only way to be safe. Otherwise, you risk your life since they bomb day and night. So I went there. I talked to them. It's unbelievable. It's like a girone dantesco. It's something that you cannot imagine. And the situation is very tough. And I think that it's becoming tougher because, now we had this basically after the negotiation in Turkey. What happened that Moscow say that they will start losing the battle in Kiev. I was in Kiev until Saturday. Basically in Kiev, I mean, at the beginning, the Russian troops made a lot of progress. They arrive in the suburbia of Kiev. They arrive almost in some, neighbor of Kiev. But then the defense force, they push back outside the skirt of the city. But they were supposed to, reorganize themselves in order to push again a second time. But this is what I thought until today. Then today they decide, Moscow say that they will lose. They will withdraw some troops from Kiev. So probably what I think is that they will move these troops from Kiev, so from the center of Ukraine, to the eastern fronts and to the southern fronts. So to here where I am in Kharkiv, and also in the south in Donbas, in Mariupol, and I think they will push until Odessa, because I'm more than sure that in the crazy mind of Vladimir Putin, sorry if I say crazy, but I mean, I don't know if it's possible to understand what is in his mind right now. I think that in his mind there is like Odessa. I think that he wants to create like a corridor from the eastern part of Ukraine, so from here, from Kharkiv, through the Donbas, Azov Sea, and then Mariupol, and then Odessa.
Nice to meet you. I am
My
Don
pleasure.
Jensen.
I'm
Europe and Russia Director at the United States Institute of Peace. And we
Nice
spend a great deal of time on the Ukraine issue, including working with the White House. So the question of what's going on in the East is very important. One of the questions I have is the issue of the Ukrainian defense of Donbass and Lugansk.
Yes.
It looks on the map that they are in some danger of being cut off, the Ukrainians, if Russia takes Mariupol and goes north. Can you give a better sense of the Ukrainian military on the Kiev side of Donbass? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
They have a lot of troops there, and you rarely see any reporting about it.
First of all, the Ukrainian army is not the Ukrainian army of 2014. The Ukrainian army, the armed force of Kiev now are much, much, much better, much well prepared than in 2014. They are really strong in Donbass because they. I mean, at the beginning, Vladimir Putin was supposed to attack only the Donbass. So even the Ukrainian force, they focus on Donbass. So they have much forces there. Many soldiers are in Donbass. So they are prepared, and I think that the battle will be really tough. The point is that the more weapons the Ukrainian force will receive from the Western countries, the stronger will be the resistance. Ukrainians are really well motivated. I think that one of the factors that Vladimir Putin underestimated at the beginning of the war was the Zelensky factor. Vladimir Putin thought that Ukrainian would be a new Afghanistan, with an Ashraf Ghani that left the country after 2 days. But Zelensky is not Ashraf Ghani. Zelensky remain. Zelensky stay in Kiev. Zelensky talk every single day. Zelensky have relationship with all the Western leaders. Zelensky ask for weapons. Zelensky is the motivator of the Ukrainian resistance, and this is something that Vladimir Putin underestimated. This was the most important mistake made by Kremlin and by the general of Vladimir Putin and by Vladimir Putin himself. So I think that Ukrainians are really well motivated to confront and to resist and to fight until the end. Well, how they say, until the victory. So I had a meeting a couple of days ago with former president of Ukrainian, Poroshenko, and he formed a battalion, and he say we are ready to fight. I mean, I don't want to say I want to fight until the end of my life, but if giving my life means save the peace, the independence, the freedom of Ukraine, I'm willing to give my life away. So basically they are really well motivated, but still they need weapons because the uh, armed force of Vladimir Putin, I mean, they are a little bit obsolete in some case, but they are really strong. So it's and also, let's say, Russia, it's a nuclear power, and that's something that we have not to, underestimate or forget. So I think that in Donbass, they have the chance to resist. They have the possibility to fight against the Russian and to, in some way, to defeat in some cities the Russian, but they need weapons from the Western countries.
Mariupol.
Mariupol, okay.
Why? I mean, it's incredible how long they have held out, and they're almost surrounded. Uh, I expect it will fall soon, but what is exactly going on there?
What I would say, what already happened in Mariupol.
What already happened, he says.
Because Mariupol is not a city anymore. There's no human being. I mean, there are like very few people in there, and basically, I think that Mariupol is like this because three reasons, in my opinion. Because Mariupol, the pro-Russian people in Mariupol in 2014, they had a lot of casualties. Many people, pro-Russian people, were killed by Ukrainian force. Second, Mariupol is strategic for the project of Vladimir Putin to create this corridor from Kharkiv until Odessa, and Mariupol is in the middle. Third, because Putin, and not only Putin, is convinced that in Mariupol there are all the nationalist battalion that he considered the worst enemy. When he talked about denazification of Ukraine, he was talking about those, groups of nationalist people that are the worst enemy of Vladimir Putin, and they are concentrated mainly in Mariupol.
Oh no! When will they surrender, or when will it be captured?
I think that they will never surrender, even
Never
because
surrender.
in Mariupol fights, in Mariupol there are like group of very, nationalist, patriotic, very hard to die people that they will never surrender. Eventually, they will be killed. They will try to evacuate people, the few, people that are still there, but the soldier will be there and will fight till the end.
Yeah.
I want to just add one thing that, Zelensky, until the war, Zelensky was considered from part of Ukrainians, was considered a weak person, was considered a former actor, not a president. I visit one of these battalion, like Azov battalion. I talk to these people, and basically now Zelensky is the national hero because he's the president of the war. So that show how things change with a war. And I think again that this is the huge mistake that Vladimir Putin made. Vladimir Putin thought that Ukraine would be a new Afghanistan. Instead, he found President Zelensky as a hero. So that's something that counts a lot in this war.